Welcome to Runner Tracks, CSUB's Organizational Training and Leadership Series. This module is all about event assessments. How do you know if your event was successful and why does it matter? We will go over questions to ask after the event as well as things to do before the event that will prepare you to answer the other questions later. There are many reasons to do an assessment of your event. One is to see if you accomplished what you set out to do. From this standpoint, your event can be a success or a failure. Another is to see what you could improve upon for subsequent events. From this standpoint, success is more of a sliding scale. Through an event assessment, you have an opportunity to evaluate your leadership decisions and learn something from them. Before you start, keep this in mind. The amount of effort you put into your assessment should be appropriate for the amount of effort you put into the event. In other words, don't spend a week performing an assessment on a 1-hour meeting. Number 1, effectiveness and efficiency. Let's say you set out to get a taco for lunch. Buying a taco for $1 is effective and efficient. Buying a taco for $100 is effective because you do end up with a taco, but it is not at all efficient. It's not enough to accomplish what you set out to do. You need to limit yourself to acceptable parameters. There is no such thing as at any cost. There are many parts of the event management process, including planning, funding, promotion, and so on. One important part that is frequently overlooked is assessment. An event is created because of a need. The event can be effective. It either satisfied the need or it didn't. But an event can also be efficient. It either satisfied the need efficiently or inefficiently. An event that is effective but inefficient isn't ideal, but at least the need was met and improvements can be made for the next time. If an event is ineffective, its efficiency is automatically zero because any money spent was wasted, unless partially successful is an acceptable outcome. A successful event is one that met the need using a reasonable amount of resources. Your time, money, and energy are finite, so it's important to use them effectively and efficiently. An event assessment will help you do that. Number 2, goals. A football player without a goal line is a cross-country runner. You can't tell if an event is effective or not if you don't have a target to aim at, and most events will have more than one. So how do you determine what makes a good goal? Welcome to S.M.A.R.T. S.M.A.R.T is an assessment concept that helps you define a meaningful goal. A SMART goal must be specific. Specific goals ask, what do you hope to achieve? Raising money isn't a goal, it's a purpose. Raising a specific amount of money in a specific amount of time would be a specific goal. Measurable goals are quantifiable. You can be halfway to raising $500. You can't be halfway to raising a lot of money. Achievable goals should be realistic but still be a challenge. Raising $50,000 probably isn't possible, and even raising $5,000 might require an unreasonable amount of effort. $500 is an achievable goal. Relevant goals help you achieve your purpose. If you're raising money, a goal that involves attendance probably isn't relevant. Time-bound goals have a well-defined start and end time for the event. The success of a goal can't be measured if there's no window of time in which the goal must be completed. Number 3, data. To perform an assessment, you need to decide what you want to measure, what data you will need to measure it, and how you will collect that data. The data by itself is like a box of puzzle pieces. It isn't meaningful until you put the pieces together to see the picture. If you know what information you want, the next question is, what data will you need to examine? If your goal is related to money, you'll need to know how much money was made. That's pretty easy. You take in money, then you count it. If it's related to attendance, you'll need to know what the attendance was. That's a little harder. Are you going to track attendance through ticket sales, wristband numbers, turnstiles, or just have someone there counting heads? If it's related to something more complicated like awareness, you need to know how visible the event was. Track hits, likes, and shares on social media and articles in traditional media and websites. If it's related to the guest experience, you'll need feedback. You can ask attendees on their way out, collect their email addresses and send them a survey, or send them home with a paper that includes a link like a fast food restaurant receipt. You need to decide before the event how you will capture the data at the event so you can process it after the event. Number 4, adjustments. Don't wait until the event is over to make adjustments. You can make some assessments while the event is in progress and change direction to a more favorable outcome. The term course correction is used by ships, planes, and spacecraft. Not trains so much since you can't steer a train, but since most people are familiar with flight schedules, let's use planes as our example. A flight has a three-part SMART goal. Leave a place, in a plane, from a gate, at a time. Fly in a direction, at a speed. Arrive in a place, at a gate, at a time. You can assume you're in the same plane you left in. During the flight, all kinds of things can change that result in adjustments being made. Planes break and cause delays or plane changes. Normal wind patterns can change and the plane needs to adjust its flight plan accordingly. Issues with other planes can result in holding patterns, increased traffic, and delays. And bad weather could force a plane to divert to another city altogether. Passengers usually don't care about the course corrections as long as they arrive at their planned destination close to their expected arrival time. The course corrections are vitally important to the flight crew, though, because without them, they'll never meet the expectations of the passengers. Number 5, assessment. The event is over, you have the data you wanted to collect. Now let's go over the final steps. Some elements of assessment are easier than others. As long as you collected the data, counting is just a matter of looking at the totals. Computing requires you to take multiple elements that were counted and find their relationships to each other. In the beginning, you set goals. Now you have results. You need to compare the two to determine if you succeeded in meeting your goals or if you fell short. Finally, you need to determine a course of action for the future. Are there parts that went better than expected that you could expand upon? Maybe some worked just fine and you'll leave them the way they are. Maybe some parts didn't work but could be fixed, and others should be dropped altogether. And should you do the event again or abandon it and try a completely different event? Goals lead to data. Data leads to assessments. Assessments lead to conclusions. The conclusions you draw help you fulfill the purpose of your club as effectively and efficiently as possible, and that's the real reason for an event assessment. Here are a few last thoughts about event assessment. You have to decide the value of your event, not just to your club, but to your campus and your community. Was it a valuable use of your time? Would spending more or less time on the event change your mind or possibly the outcome of the event? Was it a valuable use of your money? Was it an acceptable cost per attendee based on what was offered? Did you get the best bang for your buck that you hoped? Was it a valuable use of your club's energy? Are your helpers exhausted? Looking at all of your assessment information, would you consider the event a success or failure? Is there such a thing as a partial success? And finally, should you do it again or try something completely different? Time, money, and energy are all in limited supply, and you have to decide what to do with them. An assessment will help you decide if you chose wisely. Thank you for watching our RunnerTracks Officer Training and Leadership video for event assessment. Please return to the RunnerTracks training form, answer a few questions about this video, and submit the form. If you have questions or want more information, email us at getinvolved@csub.edu. And please watch our other RunnerTracks videos.